We are back. It is opening day here in Milwaukee. Exciting times. And it actually was opening day. As you can see, we already got the win against Minnesota in opening day. Because of some recording issues, I apologize. I did not get to show that, but we will be reviewing what has happened in that game. A few moves that I made right off the bat. Before opening day, I ended up subbing in Orlando Arcia for Luis Urias, and my reasoning behind that was I think Arcia is a little bit of a better defender right off the bat, and I want to see him kind of develop his contact, and I hopefully by starting him and him performing similar to how he did last year, he could do that. I think either way, Luis Urias will get playing time. These two will switch off, and then he's also subbing for the rest of our infield at the moment, so it's not like he won't play. I want to see Arcia in the lineup and see what he can do, and either of these two are replaceable if they have to be. And the second move I made was I took Jackie Bradley Jr. out of the lineup, and my reasoning for that was he's a great defender, Gold Glove, love him, but I'd rather see Avisail Garcia come in with that better contact and very similar defensive stats. I think he'll hit a lot better, especially in the fifth spot. So we just want some more contact in the lineup getting on base. I'm starting Manny Pena as well over Omar, and just because, I mean, this is changeable, but I like his catcher ability, and that actually really does help increase the performance of our pitchers, so I'd much rather have him start and sacrifice the bat. But he's in the bottom of the lineup with Arcia, so it's not a big deal. Either of these two, again, both of these are probably going to be playing quite often, just because that's the way catchers are in this game. They don't play 162 games. They'll switch every second versus lefties, so that's fine. We're going to get to see both. It's really the first half of the season, I think, is just getting exposure to who can carry this team and actually contribute. So we know Christian Yelich is there, but the rest of these guys, everyone's up in the air. Woodruff had an amazing opening day, and he will be at the top of a rotation with Corbin Burnes. Like I mentioned in the first episode, either one of these guys are tradable, but I might wait a year, depending on how the division plays out. Because our division, I think, for the first time, the NL Central is really weak, at least compared to previous years, and looking at preseason predictions. These don't say it all, but based on what the league thinks, they expect us to win the division by around 7 games and outperform the Cubs, outperform the Cardinals, which is kind of surprising, but it makes sense. I mean, looking at the Cubs roster, they're really not the powerhouse they used to be. They brought over Jock Peterson, though. I forgot about that. They brought over Jock, Javier Baez, Rizzo, Bryant. They have a good, they have a lot of firepower in their offense. It's just, if these guys are past their peak, 28, 31, 29. As far as pitching, they really don't have anyone. It's kind of disastrous. Zach Davies came over from San Diego, but other than that, I mean, Arrieta's 35 years old. I don't think he'll be carrying the bullpen. Hendricks is 31. He did have an ERA under 3 in 2020. And I guess they have Kimbrel in the bullpen. But this Cubs team, I think, is on the decline. I don't know how their farm system compares to ours, but I would think the Cubs are runners up for the division like it's projected. The Cardinals, surprisingly, the combo of Goldschmidt and Arenado could be really nice. Bringing over Arenado, great defender. Goldschmidt's always been pretty consistent. Those two guys on the offense with Molina catching, I mean, that could be nice. Jack Flaherty's good. Adam Wainwright's, I'm surprised he's still playing. He's 39. But Flaherty could very well carry this team to a potential division title. I don't know. I mean, I it's too early to tell. I think the Reds and the Pirates are just out like these predictions. And I think because of lack of, actually, Tyler Mahle and Luis Castillo. Castillo's a great pitcher. Yeah, they brought over Moustakas. I'm kind of disappointed the Brewers got rid of him. That was a shame. He played surprisingly well in his one season. But other than that, yeah, the Reds don't really have any weapons either. A few pitchers. So look, the division's up in the air. That's basically a lot of uncertainty still. But I'm feeling good about our chances. And originally, I went into this thinking rebuild, and just analyzing this team, I could almost think that we could potentially sneak away with a division win this year. So the good thing about our situation is that we can pivot no matter what direction the season takes us. If we're riddled with injuries, then we go ahead and rebuild and trade and get prospects. If we go on a playoff run, then we delay and push back some of these trade ideas that I had in mind, which I will actually go over. But the point is, we could be flexible, and I think the season, depending on how it plays out, we have a few different routes we can take. But opening day went really well. The bottom of our lineup actually came in and carried us. Arcia had an RBI, Robertson, Garcia. Yelich went over 3, Hero went over 4. Kane had 2 hits, which was good. But it's one game in. I mean, I'm not going to make any conclusions off of that. But it was really nice to see our pitching staff come in and play so strong. Woodruff was amazing throughout the whole game. Actually, if we go back here. And then Devin Williams and Hader came in and did what they had to do. They did exactly what they had to do. So if our bullpen and our starters can perform as anywhere near what they did in opening day, I think we'll have a good season. We gave up 1 solo home run. That's it. So I'm optimistic heading into the season. We're 1 game in, but I'm optimistic. As far as one thing I will mention too, Freddie Peralta's in our bullpen right now, and I might try to move him to the rotation sometime throughout the season if we trade one of these pieces away. And I remember when Freddie came into the league, I think he was actually a starter. Yeah, I mean, he started 14 games and then 8 of these, so his ERA was a little high, but I think he could rebound and pivot and make his way back into the rotation. He's happy in the bullpen, which is fine. It's just nice knowing we have options because he has very good stuff and 3 nicely developed pitches. It's just his control. He walks a lot of batters, and he doesn't have the stamina that I would expect from a starter. So it's just something to keep in mind. He's still cheap. He's a free agent through he's signed through 2026. Let's take a look at that contract. Yeah, so this is a fairly cheap deal. I mean, he's 24. Depending on how he plays, I might look to even maybe sign him further, but I would say this is a steal. This is a nice value play. He's pretty cheap for the next 3-ish years or so before it starts to climb. So this is one guy I would keep our eye on in the bullpen at least. Hader, of course, is going to be that dominant closer. The rest of the bullpen is replaceable. I think our bullpen needs to kind of revamp, but it's not a top priority right now. I'm gonna wait on that. A few guys that I wanted to look at trading. Lindblom's the first, just because he's 33 and he's not really a big contributor to our rotation. I don't think I'm gonna get anyone. Okay, a 20 Sean Newcomb could be okay. We could at least generate some more free cash off of that, and he's a 3.5-star reliever, and he's younger, 27. Jesus Aguilar, he can make his way back to Milwaukee. I don't know why his contact is rated so high. I mean, he hit 277, I guess, but I don't remember him hitting that in Milwaukee. Nelson Cruz, 40 years old, still playing. He's been actually really good, though. I'm excited to see what he'll do in real life. Okay, yeah, I mean, Newcomb would be our best bet. And I think my strategy going into trades are to acquire as many young pieces that we can, whether they're 4-star, 2-star, 1-star. It doesn't matter to me. I think the more pieces, the more assets that we can grab hold of and take advantage of, the better we'll be. Because at the end of the day, that's a new name that we can flip if we don't use it. Or don't use them, I should say. So, right off the bat, I mean, we see a nice closer. I don't really care about the bullpen. Bullpen prospects are probably lowest on my chart. So Vaughn Grissom, 3-star guy. They'd make it work for some of these young pitchers. Not really worth it in my books. But again, what's Lindblom? 2.5 star? Yeah. He signed through. He only has 2 years of service, though, so we have a lot of team control left on him. I'm just worried about him aging off. Or falling off, per se. William Contreras. They want Abner. Or Ashby. Yeah, it's just shopping around at this point. The other guy I wanted to shop around was Lorenzo Cain. And my reasoning for Lorenzo was he's 34 years old. Really good defender. He's got great contact. But I'm worried about him aging, and I'm worried about his contract. He's making 17 mil this season and 18 next. Depending on how he plays this year, I could look to move him this season. Again, a lot of that's dependent on whether we are in the playoff race or not. But Lorenzo Cain is definitely probably first on that list of all of these guys. Just because of his age. Colton Wong, too. Colton Wong's 30. We brought him over in the offseason. He'll be a fine utility guy. But once they hit 30, I look to trade. And that's just a general rule of thumb, at least how I play. I try to keep my options open, but if we're trying to rebuild our farm system, because our top prospect right now is Bryce Terang, and that's not going to cut it. We need a better farm system. I think we're ranked 25th out of 30th. We just don't really have the weapons of the next generation to lead our team. And there are some major holes. And this is, I think, a prime opportunity to take advantage because the division's weak. We could potentially still win games even as we focus on rebuilding. So it's a little bit of both. We could try to take a hybrid approach. I don't know how well that'll work, but it's something to keep in mind. But anyways, right. So yeah, Kane and Wong, tradable. Anyone over 30. Yelich, so I think how I'm going to approach his contract, I'm just going to embrace it and keep him as one of those cornerstones. And I think I might have mentioned this the first episode, but we have him locked down through 2028 at least. And I think, yeah, I mean, I don't want to dump him off. I want to keep him. This is just going to be set in stone. We're going to build around him, even at 29. And that's a little scary just because he might have passed his prime. But he's still got the stats. And I think if he ages anything like he does in previous out of the park series, I think we'll be okay. I just hope if he survives that remainder of the contract, that'll be great. I think he'll provide enough value where he can do that. Pena's 33. I mean, catchers are always in demand in this game. I never seem to have a great catcher. So, yeah, Jacob Nottingham's injured right now. He could potentially come off the bench and start if we need him, but there's a few holes to fill, and there's a few pieces that we can flip. I've said this before, but I think this first half of the season is going to be about seeing these pieces and seeing who can carry this team. I know we have Yelich, but I want to see who else can perform at a high level. And that's really the point of this first season, is to discover, all right, who are we keeping, who are we flipping, and how can we rebuild this farm system? But that's about it. This is a shorter episode, and you can all expect episodes to run about 30 minutes usually, just because this one kind of overlapped with our intro video. It's going to be a little shorter, but expect a mid-season video coming next. I hope you all enjoy and are looking forward to this series. Let me know what you think of our roster, what moves we could be making to help our team win some games and start off this dynasty strong. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time.